You're watching this week's show with Dan and Mike.
This week's show podcast is back again.
Hello!
And we've had quite a fun week. There's been new music that both of us are actually fairly similar opinioned on.
Yes, there's been all sorts, like announcements are happening soon. There's lots of teasers for festivals happening and...
Very exciting time to be podcasters.
Something like that.
Though we were just discussing beforehand, you were telling me, because I've not had a chance to get my schedule sorted to actually watch it yet, so you're doing...
Game 3.
Yeah, telling me what's actually happening with the team I support.
We lost.
Against the Steelers, if I remember from 5 minutes ago. Yeah, no, nice.
That clued you up, isn't it? Yeah, it was 14 all going into the last quarter.
Which is pretty exciting.
It was an exciting game, yeah. I haven't actually watched the highlights myself. Well, I'm going to do that later. They just weren't available on my lunch break.
Yeah, no, fair. And we were distracted yesterday with what the rest of this podcast is about. But in between that, I definitely, the album that we're talking about that has dropped, that by the time we did the radio show, we had only had 24 hours, but both of us were multiple listens deep into Violent Nature by I Prevail.
Yeah, it's so good.
I was hoping for big things, but for it to be this good.
I've listened to it a few more times since since we recorded the radio show, which you can find the links down below once you've liked and subscribed and all that kind of stuff.
And hit the notification bell. No, I genuinely, it's one of those surprising things. It's a bit like when Bring Me the Horizon started doing clean vocals, and everybody was just, like we were, a bit shocked that somebody that had spent their career thus far, sounding brutally heavy, I think is... Deathcore, and that's the same for I Prevail on Eric's vocals. He did do all of the brutal vocals, like we even saw them at Slam Dunk do that deathcore cover of Blank Space, What Made Them Famous.
Yes,
so they do like the normal metalcore cover, and then they just go, right, that was for you, this is for us. And then they kick into the deathcore version of it, which, again, I love his screaming vocals. I always have. There was another video that went up a little while back where him and Noah Sebastian did The Throne together, the track by Bad Omens.
Oh, okay.
And they're both very, very talented on the screaming vocals, but it was amazing hearing them together because they're actually quite different. And so you got different ways of going about the same vocal line. And always found that impressive. But same as Bad Omens, when you go back to the original, I think it's self-titled album, you wouldn't think that he would become the vocalist that he became by Death of Peace of Mind, because it was like, he got criticised a bit for sounding a bit like Ollie Sykes, funnily enough. And now, look at these people, and I think it's for people like us that have been through metalcore since the beginning.
Yeah, we are metalcore ogs.
Yes. There was this thing, and I don't know where it came from, but when people started doing dual vocals, nobody could believe that you could do both. Then you get into the mindset of listening to somebody that does purely screaming, and you forget that what they actually have by doing that for years is amazing breath control and amazing sort of throat control over vocal cords.
Oh, yeah.
If you then have the confidence to be able to sing clean, I imagine it's one of the reasons why all of them end up being pretty decent. But this makes Ghost Inside a career of screaming music, and then suddenly the last album, Boy Can Sing.
Jonathan Virgil.
Yeah. Incredible. We've got obviously the ones that we've said. And there's a few others dotted around out there which suddenly decided, I mean, even Randy Blythe.
He gave it a shot, didn't he?
And fairly nice sounding clean vocals.
Yeah.
He just doesn't really want to write that type of music, as far as what he said in interviews is concerned. But
see what happens next year.
I mean, can you imagine it suddenly turns into like this lo-fi soft pop stuff that Lamb of God had done, and then that's all they play at Bloodstock.
Like Mr. Bungle style.
Yeah. I mean, that would be great fun.
Well, if you listen to Mark Morton's country stuff.
I mean, that always surprised me how different he was, because it was the one that he recorded with Chester before Chester passed away. And it just you wouldn't equate the two, because sometimes when people have a side project, it's almost like they just go into the deeper part of the style of their main band for the fans that want to explore more riffing, more stuff like that. But then you get the ones that just go completely left at the traffic lights.
Like Mike Patton, he's Faith No More, Mr. Bungle, and all of his other little rock projects. It's just like he did like a loungecore album.
Of course, because why not?
I've forgotten the name of it, but it's cool. It's just like sort of drinking brandy from a balloon or balloon glass, and shirts undone with the proper bow tie open down the sides, proper loungecore with a piano and just silly little it's keeping up, making sure that all assets of your creativity are met. I
mean, the other one that people seem to delve into, and I think it's because they realised, I call it the Stained effect, because Stained gave up being Stained because when he did his country stuff,
Stained got really big off a couple of songs there of the moment. But once that sound had dissipated, then Stained weren't on the top of the mountain anymore, but Aaron's vocals were just like, well, actually I can lend this to some country and I can sell out arenas by myself.
And he does, like, fair play to him.
But he has gone back and they've done Stained
again,
Stained again.
Stained again.
Scrub harder next time.
We washed you out the first time at the end of the 2000s, and now restained.
Restained. The comeback tour.
The other two people I can think that have got quite a country following, because I saw that he's had to put it to one side because of the success of his main band, and that's Jarrett from Bowling.
Yes.
He's had to put Jarrett Reddick to one side because Bowling...
Yeah, he kind of just does that when he's at home in Texas now, doesn't he? Like local bars and stuff.
And his post was, I wish I could carry on. He's like, but is anybody, especially me, going to complain that the reason I can't is because Bowling are getting bigger than they've ever been before? I'm not unhappy with that.
Tickets left for Wembley.
Make sure that you're at Wembley if you're in the UK. Or actually come across to the UK. We're not as against people coming to the UK as our media says, just to put that out there.
Especially if you're bowling for suits.
Exactly. But the other one which always surprised me, but less so when you listen to what he did with his voice over the years, is Danny Warsnop.
Yeah.
Like, in some ways, I can understand why he's still doing Asking, because Asking is like the main project and everything like that. But I am curious the direction they're going to go, because all of his social media is all about him being a country artist.
Yeah, and especially now Ben Bruce has left as well. It's like, are they going back to that moving on kind of era?
I kind of hope so, because like a House on Fire, that was an absolute jam of an album. We really didn't mind the last 3 or 4 albums that were sort of like hard rock rather than metalcore. And going against the general sort of fandom opinion, I'd rather Danny don't do deathcore vocals and he lasts in the industry for another 20 years rather than trying to go, I'm going to go back and do my first album's work. Because I'm not sure if a lot of people know this, but I used to watch pretty much every interview that Asking did. He'd only been like a vocalist for about 3 months at the point of recording Stand Up and Scream.
Oh, wow.
So a lot of what he did, like, we don't know the consequences in studio of how he got those sounds. Like, maybe he did all of his deathcore lines in one go, got them down, but then didn't actually
rested the vocal cords.
To do the other stuff.
And do the rest. Yeah.
And then when you take out Final Episode on the road and you have to do it every day, like, there's about 10 different vocal styles in just that one song, let alone the rest of the album. And, we've talked about it before. You've got the Matt Tucks and the Matt Heafys that have been very honest about what happened at the start of their careers, with the fact that, like, Matt Tuck went from singing in, I think it was the church choir or something like that, he was saying, like maybe once a week, twice a week, and suddenly he had to gig a singing and screaming style 5 nights out of 7 a week. And it's just not easy to continue that live, get it right, without something being compromised, which is why they both, I believe, if I haven't got this wrong, both had throat surgery to remove polyps from the vocal cords.
Makes sense.
And that's why both Trivium and Bullet have a distinct vocal style change between album 1 and album 2, because they both exploded, toured massively off the first album, then realised, well, I can't just write the same thing again, which is why Scream Aim Fire's a little bit more sing-heavy, give him a chance to cope. And Crusade, which is Trivium's second album, there's no screaming on it whatsoever. So,
but then on the flip side, you got Danny Filth, who is still screaming, and he's about my age.
Yeah, and like is still pushing the label on the fact that he does things on album and live, because admittedly it was a few years ago that we watched him live at Hard Rock Helen, Snowdonia. But both of us were just sat there going, how does this man actually still sound this good doing that style?
Bloodstock as well last year. It's just like...
Yeah, no, I didn't get to watch as much of that as I wanted to, so that's why I remember the Hard Rock Hell.
Yeah.
Because I believe at that point I was editing a blog or doing an announcement post, something like that. Because we work. One thing that we do is we work, and there's actually often a list on our table as we work going, right, well, Mike's going out for this band that he loves. It's always Hatebreed. If Hatebreed are playing,
Hells yeah.
We do not have Mike in the press area. And if I See Stars are playing, even if I have interviews booked, I've gone to go watch I See Stars.
So more often than not, then it's me that's missing, because I See Stars just haven't toured that much compared to Hatebreed.
No.
You can guarantee Hatebreed at least once every year, maybe 18 months max.
Hopefully, though, we've got The Wheel, the I See Stars new album. I'm hoping that's going to mean that we see a lot more of them coming across. Also, best of luck to Devon with your continuing health issues, which is the reason it was 9 years between albums. And I like the fact that for somebody like me, like I wasn't worried that they had taken a while.
Yeah, you said this on last week's show when the album reviewed.
But it's nice to know why.
Yeah.
You know, because as a fan, especially these days, like the internet will shout loudly about anything, especially what a podcaster is going to be about in a second. But actual real people and real fans, like I say, I would rather somebody be well, healthy, feeling good about doing what they're doing and take 9 years than him having to battle through those health issues and release something quicker just because somebody like me wants to have more albums. I would rather somebody be well. That's my takeaway from this.
Well done.
Thank you.
Well said.
I think we probably need to talk about the Palooza.
The ESPN loser.
The debut Palooza.
Yes.
Interesting because
WrestlePalooza.
the name and the way that they were trying to like bill it being that it's going to be another WrestleMania, I think because it was a starting show, we ended up with something that was a little bit more like Saturday Night Live with the numbers. And
with the audience as well.
Well,
it was much smaller than WrestleMania. Like, is in a stadium over 2 nights. This was in
an arena,
but not even a big arena. It was only like 15,000 or something.
But that does make sense for
build it up.
A start of a new brand. Also, one thing, first match being John versus Brock. One thing that has made me giggle so much in the 24 hours since I watched it to recording this is how little wrestling pages on Facebook and places like that actually seem to understand about the business.
Yeah.
Because there's so many people complaining, like, why did we have a smash? Why did Brock just come out and basically annihilate him? And it's like, well, one, you're forgetting your history, is that that's always been something that they've had on a build of a storyline. Brock comes out, he annihilates everything around him, hence the name The Beast Incarnate.
Plus, he's twice the size of John Cena.
I mean, to make John Cena look like a small guy, you have to be a massive, massive dude. But I swear Brock just gets scarier looking as well.
Especially now he's got long hair and it's all unkept and the beard, and he just looks like a sort of a logger or someone who...
He's an American farm boy. When he's not wrestling,
like
he's
a rancher or...
Yeah, he's hurling hay bales, probably chilling out with Sam Elliott and his mustache, if the ranch is to be believed.
Or chilling with... He should be chilling with Alex Terrible wrestling bears by the looks of it.
Well, no, to be honest, I think Alex Terrible is wrestling bears so that at one point he can wrestle Brock.
Bare knuckle fighting.
Yeah.
Brock's been UFC champ as well, hasn't he?
I mean, that was one of the fantastic things about getting Paul Heyman back to do Brock's ring announcement. And just labelling everything that he's done over his career, because the one thing that you got to love about the UFC title that he has, that's not a predetermined title like the WWE is.
No, UFC If you win, you win.
you win because you're the one that won.
You smack the hell out of some other jump who's been trying to smack you tail. And
then, of course, he used that to come back to WWE and be even more of a beast because, though I do think there was a couple of ones where he had to get used to the change in style again, if I remember correctly. Because when he came back from UFC, he did have a tendency to occasionally throw a real hard, like, brutal punch.
Well, it's when he walked into the ring and he had the
he
fingerless gloves.
Always has those,
padded up. That's what they have in UFC. It's just like...
But I think also for wrestling, he probably has to wear them because Brock is such a big guy. If he miscalculates even a fake punch and hits them like proper knuckles forward, that's going to hurt. Braun Strowman, you can answer this question because obviously at one point you did accidentally get a bit carried away with Brock and I think need him in the head in a match. So Brock immediately gave him what they call a receipt.
Yes.
But also, what I love about Brock is because Braun Strowman, I mean, try and calm down Braun Strowman, good luck, just smacked him full force in the side of the head and then leaned in and was like, right, calm it down, let's keep it chill. The fact that he has got that level of physical control, that he can do like one actual punch to, right, calm yourself down, and then can go back to wrestling. These guys, like, I genuinely find it impressive. Though with Brock, one of the more impressive things is being able to wrestle with pink-faced because you've literally gashed yourself within 30 seconds. But he doesn't slow down, he doesn't miss moves, and he doesn't fumble. Brock is one of the few people that can get gassed, and he just, like, I swear, big guys don't feel pain the same way that we do.
He's solid as well.
Yeah.
He's like, you get some big guys, and it's like, big
Bronson Reed, yep.
Yes, that's the word. He's a big guy because he's got a big belly and a big ass kind of thing. He's just...
Well, he's also like 6'7", I think.
Yeah, but he's big out.
Not so much anymore.
No, not anymore, but he's still a hefty unit.
Yeah.
Whereas Brock is just pure gristle, muscle, and, you know, I'm sure Braun is as well, but...
Well, Braun Breaker is.
Yeah.
But you can see that Bronson Reed, we talked about this on the podcast before, whether it's the influence of Seth, Braun, Paul, whoever, is I can see Big Bronson Reed, if he carries on that becoming pure muscle mission that he seems to be coming, he's a very, very good replacement for somebody like Brock Lesnar because you need big guys that can do power moves against each other because, like, it was fun watching Braun Strowman. There's so many different Bronsons and Brocks. But watching him have fun against tiny wrestlers, it's a good laugh, but it's not a serious wrestling match.
We've seen in AAA there's a tiny luchador.
I mean, is it Rey Mysterio?
No, there is. It's like a small person.
Yes.
As a luchador, but
Amazing.
The tag partner is a Brock Mountain. I mean, and he hit the Brock Mountain. I can't remember the names because I don't really watch
the AAA. Yeah.
It literally just picks up the small person, or with the luchador helmet on, and we can literally just throw him like a pebble across a water into the opponent.
I mean, we saw a little bit of that with another match. So I want to move on to that because we'll just finish up the Brock stuff. Facebook pages, clearly you've never watched wrestling and you don't understand how a storyline builds. It's a smash because then it gives John Cena something to conquer in his retirement tour with one of the biggest feuds that he's ever had. Like, who else is going to come back and make John Cena have something to conquer?
In the 3 or 4 matches they've got together, because Cena's not on the cards now for a few weeks.
Well, he needs a break.
Well, he's probably got promo for Peacemaker.
Well, that too.
That's out soon, so he'll probably have a couple of weeks of doing... Well, I was going to say Fallon, but that's not going to happen. Yeah, we'll do Jimmy Fallon. He just went to Kimmel.
Shout out Kimmel, love you.
Love you, Kimmel.
Yeah, 100%.
Part of the Jimmys, that's what I do when I get home from work. It's put the Jimmys on.
Though I have seen that there's...
Jimmy Fallon, Jimmy Kimmel.
Jimmy Corden.
No.
No.
Jon Stewart.
Yeah.
He's the go, obviously.
But
Late night TV.
If the Facebook post I was reading just before we recorded this are to be believed, Don't write Kimmel off just yet.
Oh no, not at all. He's angry and
no. He's got a new team of angry people potentially. Seeing whether or not it amounts to anything, but I think they're doing something where they don't have to be beholden to a TV channel that can be influenced by certain loud trumpeting fanfare about things they don't like.
To be fair, he's rich enough. He can build a studio in his hometown of Vegas,
and probably just do it that way,
and still just bung it out on YouTube.
Yeah,
there are
people like us that will watch it.
But look at Rogan, the biggest, most watched podcast ever kind of thing, and he does it all himself. I know you can listen to it on Spotify and stuff, but
Spotify did pay him, but he had to get there first.
Yeah.
So,
but it's
well built.
But I know they got rid of, or they're getting rid of Stephen Colbert as well. I don't think Jimmy Fallon will probably go down the same route because he's more sort of light-hearted entertainment because he's come from the SNL background. Whereas
he's almost a lack of topical, you know.
Yeah. He's the Fallon's the one that will have Scarlett Johansson in there doing silly games, or
Triple H doing lip syncing.
All that
to
kind
Frozen,
of stuff. But they don't tend to do that kind of thing on
Kimmel.
But Kimmel is the guy that puts heavy metal bands onto national TV, like Knock Loose
and Poppy.
And Poppy, the first gutturals on national TV in the States.
Love him for that. Absolutely love him.
But some of the other bands, like when he did Kimmel Live, the outdoor stage kind of thing. Some of the bands he's had on that were just like, there are bands. He comes from radio in the start of it.
Yeah.
That's where he started his career, was in radio, so he knows his stuff. And when it comes to modern metal bands, it's like, yeah, Jimmy Kimmel's one of us. But anyway, back to the wrestling.
So obviously Brock won, but that's the start of the final feud. That's all I'm going to say.
I think that'll be the final matchup for John.
Yeah. I completely agree, actually. Unless they have something that is literally just a fun showcase. Maybe Rock comes back, because Rock's the only person like Brock, it's getting confusing, that has the legacy and the history.
Dwayne.
The Johnson.
He's never going to be on the show now, is he? We call him The Johnson. It's like that bit in Wayne's World. Look at that!
I should think before I speak, especially as a podcast, but it's never going to happen, which is why people watch it. I got the match card just to one side there. I don't need to say much about this because I approved of everything that happened in it. Io Sky, Stephanie Valcoeur.
I think that was the best pound for pound match of the entire WrestlePalooza. I think they were well suited to each other.
I was going to say well suited indeed.
Together, and the result was perfect.
Not only was the result perfect, it was what happened post-result which made my heart sing. It was handing the title to her dad.
Yeah, that was so sweet.
Yeah.
And the fact that she had the title, Stephanie had the title, she raised it up and that, and then she gave it to Io, and Io passed it back to her, going like,
and put it on the ground where they also bowed to each other.
Yeah.
Oh.
Because they shook hands beforehand as well, because one was going to lose, one was going to win. It's like the Super Bowl, the FA Cup final or something. It's like...
And that can't be built because it was meant to be Stephanie Valcoeur building against Naomi, but obviously very happy news from the Naomi family that couldn't carry on. Makes a lot of sense that they didn't actually do much of a storyline build because we all know it's not... there wasn't time and there wasn't much point.
Yeah.
So just to have two very, very well-suited wrestlers, a bit like if you had Jade Cargill and Nia Jax, they're very well-suited for each other. Because there is, both male and female have size differences.
Yeah.
I like Io versus Stephanie because they got the best out of each other moves-wise. Some of the counters were just, like, you can't even imagine how they realised they could come up with doing stuff like that.
Yeah, there were bits of it where it's slow. It's like building a DJ set. You have peaks and troughs. There's some slow bits where they just grappled, and then within a split second, they were spinning each other around their necks and their thighs, and all over the place. And just like, this was that's the most entertaining bout of the entire WrestlePalooza.
Though I think another one which people were quite happy with, though, I agree with my friend that I watched it with, maybe 5 minutes too long, and that was the mixed tag match between AJ, CM versus Becky Lynch and Seth Rollins.
I think it was a foregone conclusion as soon as
It was going to be AJ that wins.
came back. It's just like it was, and the fact that they tried to keep her out of the ring for as long as possible.
I mean, that's old
Yeah.
traditions of make sure there's a pop and all of this. The reason I say 5 minutes too long is just I had enjoyed it. I was enjoying all of it, and then it was like, wait a minute, I just want AJ now to pull out the win. But for somebody that's been out of the business for 10 plus years,
She's match ready.
yeah, maybe half a beat behind certain things. But that's why you work with somebody like Becky Lynch, because Becky Lynch still made it look like she was as quick as she needed to be, offered her out some of the moves the way that they needed to. And I got to be honest, I absolutely love the way they destroyed the announce table, because we're expecting, and I even said, like,
Fully collapsed.
well, I said when they got up on there, I said to Heidi and Ollie, the ones I watch it with, I was like, I'm just not sure that the AJ Lee and Becky Lynch actually have the weight, even if they do a drop onto the desk, to collapse the table, because they're so well made. Clearly, we weren't the only ones with that concern. The writers of the match also had that concern. But I loved it, like just the way they went about the whole thing.
I think the two women were more entertaining than watching Punk and Rollins again go at each other.
They've had a feud, and they need some time off from that feud. Like, I get it's a really good one because they mix the kayfabe and the real life so well that you don't know if they've ever actually made it up as friends. Probably have, but...
Or are they going to go and keep the feud between the two couples, but the next time they meet, it'll be for the belts?
I did say that it would be nice to see a mixed tag match with both belts on the line.
Yeah.
But...
when AJ won, I was just like, well, oh no, they're not fighting for the belts, it's just those two have the belt.
Yeah, though... I got to be honest, one thing I did love about the whole thing is I loved the equal representation between male and female, where Seth and Becky are dressed exactly the same. Yeah. They've got the podium thing, they both got the belts.
Did you not think when it started lowering down, it was how can I mention it again? It was like Bill and Ted when they go to the future and they see the rock gods in the future.
That was said in our watch party as well.
Way.
Yeah. So good. So good. And just
the big glasses and the high collars.
The selling of just looking like absolute lunatics is just brilliant. They do it so well. But I also love the more casual representation that AJ and CM Punk went for. Like subtle things like CM Punk, somebody that is almost the quintessential male, like sort of stereotype, but he's wearing her colours. Yeah. He comes out with AJ's husband rather than CM Punk. This is things that we just never saw in stuff like this before. The era wouldn't support it. And the reason I'm so happy is that this is when I've invested the most amount of time I ever have done in the WWE. And it feels like I'm actually watching fair representation and a good product.
Yeah.
So that's the mixed tag. We obviously have the cute moment with Undertaker coming out and making Stephanie McMahon cry.
I think we probably thought the same thing as well. It's like the match had finished and then the lights went out and you hear gong and you're like or AC/DC Back in Black.
Yeah.
But then I was like, why would they be coming out? Why would Metallica be here? Like, whose theme tune? No one's got a theme tune that would be Metallica. So, it's then the second one clicks and it says that,
Yeah, no, you can tell.
Undertaker on his custom Harley or whatever it was.
Yeah, because he came out as American Badass.
Yeah.
Clearly also got a bit worried about the old man beard. Just in case, this gets back to you, Taker, we're completely comfortable with you getting old. I've watched your podcast where you're honouring your own legacy by never wanting to actually come back to the ring and wrestle again. There are so many wrestling fans that are just happy with the way that you're handling retirement. I could listen to retired wrestlers do podcasts for the whole week, like every week. I like hearing the way that Taker felt about things.
Yeah, it's the old stories.
HBK as well, for who he is now as well, and like the progression, because he had some ego problems, I think is probably the best way of putting it. But who he is now it's the best of everything that he's been distilled into this wonderfully supportive trainer, podcaster, he is the definition of a WWE legend, but Stephanie McMahon also the definition of a WWE legend.
So it was nice that Taker came out and said, you're going to be inducted, you're the first person announced as the inductee of next year's Hall of Fame, which is
and for somebody that's been
caught her off guard, I think.
I was going to say, for somebody that's been on TV managing her emotions for nearly her entire adult life.
Well, and the fact that hubby runs the storylines and everything, he is,
But they kept it from him.
He didn't know either.
No. When Triple H got inducted, Stephanie had managed to pull off a coup with him.
Yeah.
So this was his little payback, and there is a video come out from the WWE where you get the Taker and Stephanie, and then you watch the very proud husband Triple H underneath just there going, But we have Stephanie mainly to thank for the women's division, not being the Divas division, because AJ Lee won the Divas title a couple of times. But one of the reasons why she left the WWE, there was multiple, but one of the ones that she's said in interviews is, I didn't want to be a diva, I wanted to be a women wrestler. That was listened to by Stephanie, and that's why she did the change, she did the launch, she's done being the host of Evolution and stuff like that. And for somebody that has the surname that she does, I think she's very much proven over many, many years that she is her own person with her own focus, and she's brought her own touch to the industry, which I'm very grateful for, because the women's division is better than it's ever been.
I prefer watching the women's matches to the guys, to be fair.
Sometimes, I think their grappling is a lot better because, there isn't the same size differences, or, guys can be a little bit almost inflexible because of just genetics.
Bulk mass, isn't it?
Bulk mass.
Yeah.
You can't bend up JC Mateo into a pin and make it look believable, because the man just looks like the angriest toddler going. But with women, it does have that sort of extra element. Plus, none of us are complaining at the blurring of lines as to, say, Rhea Ripley does quite well, where everything, even conversation she has, just has this air of flirtatiousness. And that's fantastic, and guys just can't do that in the same way. So it also is in ring. Guys can't generally kind of look good in the same way as women can, just because, with guys, we're going into stereotypical things, take, what's his name? Carmelo. He comes out to the ring and it's all about hunched up muscles. That's the guy trope for wrestling. So there are limits to it.
But with the Stephanie thing as well, did you notice in the actual opening montage of the entire WrestlePalooza, where they were linking it to ESPN in the past and how this is the perfect amalgamation of the two companies? There was a couple images of Stephanie's old man in that, so they're easing the blockade, I think, on Mr. McMahon. Which I can understand. I can understand exactly why they don't want him on the shows or anything like that. But he's the person that put wrestling on the map, where ESPN. So just having those little nods in the montage of him commentating back in the 80s and stuff, it's the same as having Hulk Hogan back and that kind of thing. It's you pay respect even if those people are a bit...
Separate the man from the art.
Yeah.
And the reason I'm going to steal Chris Van Villet's way of putting it, I can't remember who he was talking to, but he's been talking again, finally, about Chris Benoit. Now, just as a preface, if anybody does watch this and thinks that in any way we support Benoit for what he did outside a ring, never, not in a world that I exist in would I ever support what he did. Nor am I going to just say that it was all down to CTE either. We don't know because we're not him and we weren't there. But you can't just get rid of somebody's legacy, because it started almost with Kurt Angle talking about it, because some of Kurt's best ever matches, his legacy, was against Chris Benoit.
Yeah.
And then there's other things, like other wrestlers have had a bit of confidence being able to talk about it now, because I think Angle thought about this for 20 years, how to talk about this. And it's you can talk about who he was in the ring, like you can talk about the fact that Vince McMahon took wrestling from a non-televised, just live performance thing to this worldwide weekly force.
Well,
you don't have to approve of his personal life, to recognise what he did professionally.
Oh, 100%. It's
And
the same with
a lot of people.
musicians, for example. It's like, I still listen to Lost Prophets every now and then, but can't condone
Anything that he did.
that Ian Watkins did. But I listen to Lost Prophets because they were my band for a few years. I absolutely loved them. You know.
Friends with a couple of members still.
Yeah, and now we've got friends that are in other bands that we are fully supportive of, and it's just one of those things. It's like there's bound to be, look at, I'm really into hip hop, so if you look at some of the artists I like from the hip hop world, there's charges against them for money laundering and drugs and abusiveness.
I mean, you're also an EastEnders fan, which meant that you had to watch somebody that had been convicted of something pretty heinous come back and act in that after serving his time and doing all of that. It does put down, and there is also an element of, if you've served your time, I know this might be a bit controversial as far as some people are concerned, but what's the point in serving time if you aren't then given a chance to be a different person? Exactly. Some people don't get retribution, and some people I really hope just rot in a cell and die, Ian Watkins. Because for me, like...
That's just, don't need to go into it.
Exactly. Don't ever read court transcripts, that's all I'm saying.
We're not giving him any airtime whatsoever.
No. And so moving on, we've got 2 more matches to cover. We have what ended up finishing in a bit of a blood fest.
It was, but for me, not the most entertaining game.
The thing is when you watch them interact as much as they're currently interacting on weeklies, having Jimmy and Jay go off against the Bronze, it was only going to be a certain amount of interest, a certain amount of things that they haven't already done. I like the casual interactions with LA, being the special guest referee.
Yeah, that was quite cool adding him in, because he could fall in either camp. But...
Well, he's also very funny, so the point where he started turning his back on things like chair shots, because he just wanted somebody to take...
Well, that's the issue, though. Yeah. There was a chair shot that went a bit wrong, and poor old Jey Uso...
got opened up the hard way.
By himself, though. It wasn't like it... Yeah.
I saw a great one where he's upside down near the table with his legs apart, because he looks like a Y, and then somebody's just added EET next to it, so it's yeet. Fantastic. But for the sort of, that's a storyline where that's why it was middle of the card on the event. I still thought it was entertaining. I like the fact that they've carried on the Jay and LA storyline in a way that they can explore more. The result didn't surprise me.
No.
And I liked...
Vision, isn't it?
Well, yeah, and I also liked... I always liked the little sacrifice play as well, that even though Jay and LA aren't seeing eye to eye, when Jay saw that LA was about to get hit by a spear, throw him out of the way, take a spear, lose the match. That's going to be good to be discussed later tonight, because it's Monday, on Monday Night Raw. That furthers a storyline, and not everything, and this is the thing which also I think wrestling pages sometimes need to remember, not everything needs to be explosive and one-off. Sometimes you just need quality filler.
I've said it before, like, wrestling is like a soap opera, so there will be bits where you have to transition from one storyline to another, but you've got to have that bit in between, or like being in a band and you play your biggest hit and then you play something else before the next biggest hit, so those 2 big hits will sound epically big because you put in still a big hit but not one of the crowd favourites. It's all
Bring
about
Me Said at Reading was a perfect example of not draining people of energy by doing 3 hits in a row, but that middle song wasn't also out of place and too much low energy. Perfect. So we only have 1 match left, being Cody versus Drew McIntyre.
The predictable, again, I think a lot of these were very predictable, but Cody Rhodes has been away filming for 3 weeks, 4 weeks.
Wait, I thought he was out due to injury.
I mean, yes, he was out in injury because he got put through the desk, but there was no promo or hype over the coming weeks, or the weeks beforehand,
because he was filming,
because he was away, so it's kind of a bit lackluster. But then he's only just got the belt back, so why
he can't lose it quickly.
Why lose it on your second game or your second fight trying to
defend it.
It's just like.
And Drew is also perfect because Drew even commented on this in some of his promo that he didn't want a big storyline build. He just wanted a title opportunity because he's Drew McIntyre.
Yeah.
Got a good title opportunity, and the one thing I did really, really love about it, because Drew does things that barely anybody does. Like when he landed with the small of his back onto a set of steel steps against Seth Rollins in a cage. Like that is a once in a career move. He's even said it's never going to be done again.
No.
But the thing that he did really, really well is when he ran forward for the Claymore, is it actually looked like he had injured his leg. The way that he went down, it was just really, really well done. So it's predictable, sure. Again, it's a main event that, because you can't put a smash like Brock versus John at the end. It's got to be a bit longer, so that's why it's still Cody and Drew. But I thought that Drew sold it really, really well, to the point where I had to take a second to work out, is this kayfabe or is he actually hurt? Because if you can play a moment like that so well that even somebody that watches it as much as we do kind of goes, wait a minute, is that? Or is it not?
Good acting.
It's good acting. So, but also Cody needs, I wouldn't be surprised if he keeps the title all the way to Mania again, and that at some point in a couple of months we're going to have some type of Road to WrestleMania storyline start. But I don't know who it could be at the moment. But
we've got a few more things before that, because it's Perth in a few weeks' time.
Survivor Series.
Yeah, and then Survivor Series, and then
John's got to go.
John's final games are in December now.
Yeah,
and then Christmas, New Year, so it's all.
And then we get,
it's into
Rumble and stuff.
And
fingers crossed Kevin Owens comes back at Rumble. Because I would love Kevin Owens to come back and be the storyline build for Mania against Cody. He comes back even more of an sort of angry incel than he left. That would be a great thing. But I saw the great theory. I wish I could remember the page it came out on. Positive Wrestling page, loved it. But somebody takes Sami Zayn's title. Like in a brutal Healy type of way. Sami Zayn goes out with injury until Rumble, comes back at number 30, wins, and then he takes the title off of somebody at Mania, finally being a world champion.
Ooh.
I quite like that. But I think that's everything covered.
I think it is. Oh, one thing we haven't mentioned yet. Pat McAfee was back.
I love Pat McAfee. I wish where's my pen?
He was only there though for like 3 of the games.
It's because they don't want people to get it misconstrued that he's back on full-time ring announcing.
Yeah, it's because it's his hometown, wasn't it?
And he is also very heavily involved with ESPN anyway.
Yes. Well, he had his own walk down, right?
Well, he has also wrestled, so that's less common. But also thoughts and prayers to Corey Graves for being F5'd
3 times.
Twice, wasn't it?
I think it was 3.
Either way, Corey Graves, we hope that somehow you battle through these massive injuries. But
I bet he'll be on Raw tonight.
I love the fact that you can see the old wrestler in him coming out with the way that he sold it, like he had been straight up killed.
Yeah,
was brilliant. Again, as always, we have another podcast coming out this week. Make sure that you like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell.
And there is a link to wrestling in that as well.
There is a link.
We'll talk about in that podcast.
Not only that, but as we mentioned at the start, we've got a radio show that promotes nothing but new music. We do interviews with bands. We talk about mental health on that. We do a bit on this as well, but that's much more music focused. There are links below to all of our playlists for positive mental health tracks. We do a cover track on it every show as well that supports Safe Gig Swim. Make sure you check out that playlist. We also have just a track of the week, because you've got to have a track of the week.
You've got to.
Exactly. That's all on our Spotify. So if you're watching on Spotify rather than YouTube, you can find playlists to make you feel good or just to make you laugh with the covers.
Or if you want to hear the full radio show with us,
Mixcloud,
talking about the tracks and other things in music, in heavy music, sorry.
Yep.
The links below, Mixcloud, like, subscribe, notification bell, share, and
all that
leave
jazz.
comments.
That's the other thing is if you have any comments about WrestlePalooza, what you think storylines are going to develop into, please hit up our comment section. We would love to have people chat to us about what they think. So it's not just what comes out of our heads when it comes to wrestling, but we've got, you know, Jack and Ollie that have given us plenty of opinions over time, and we do read all comments. So make sure you get involved if you want to even tell us that we're wrong. Like we have been on YouTube now for over 15 years. We've been corrected quite a few times by people and commented about the teeth as well.
Wrap this up then so that people can comment.
Exactly. Make sure you tune into the next From the Vault podcast.